Hey, welcome everybody to the AI Cookbook Show. I'm Malcolm Werchota, and a bit for those who are looking it on YouTube or on Spotify video, you can see a slide which says, this week is the week that your operating model expired. Hey, what the hell? What the hell happened this week that my operating model expired? Okay, so today we're going to talk about 5 different stories. We're going to talk about how AI agents from Cursor built an entire web browser, kind of things that companies take years to do. It did it in 1 week. We're also going to talk about Anthropic. They brought out a new product. It's not Claude Code. It's kind of Claude Code, but a bit different and a simpler. It's called Cowork. And if you are on a free plan, start expecting to get advertisement in ChatGPT, because OpenAI is starting to put ads in ChatGPT. And even Google is mining your entire Gmail and creating an AI agent. Were you aware of that? And because of what happened with Grok, that Grok, you could say to Grok on any picture on Grok, undress this person, put that person in a bikini or whatever, even children, unfortunately, the UK just made deepfake creation illegal. Now, that first story, the Cursor story, that's really, really my favorite. Why? Because it's not just that they built a browser with AI. It's how they did it and what we can learn from this. We as businesses, because they failed first, they were not able to make it happen. And then they figured out something very, very interesting of how AI agents work together. So let's explore week number 3 in AI. Action, let's go.
Flip the switch, the circuit's live. Digital dreams, they thrive and strive. Recipes coded to feed your mind, serving knowledge of the AI kind. Welcome to the AI Cookbook Show, where the data streams and the insights flow. Tune in slow, let the rhythm grow. For every soul in the know and those who don't.
Okay, now imagine this. Imagine you've got hundreds of AI agents. Which agents? Actually, the latest model from ChatGPT, 5.2. You can run them on Codex, for example. And then you tell them, can you please build me a web browser from scratch? And you let them run for a week, autonomously without any human coding. And imagine at the end of that week, you would have a full functional web browser. Now, we need to put this a bit in context, how wild this is. I think the number, and you can see it actually here, the number is 3 million lines of code were written, and an entire custom rendering engine was written in Rust. Everything is inside, HTML parsing, CSS cascade, the JavaScript virtual machine, the entire thing. That's what Cursor did. So Michael Truell is their CEO. By the way, the CEO of Cursor is 25 years old, okay? For all you who are like 40, 50 like me, that guy is 25 years old. And he announced on January the 14th, so 3 days ago, what they did. And they called it fast render. Actually, screenshots showed Google's homepage loading, and it worked. It actually worked. Now, what's really, really interesting is this was not their first attempt, because their first attempts, they failed spectacularly. So let's talk about that failure. What do you mean they failed particularly? Well, let's talk about that failure. They tried to do something which is called flat coordination. Flat coordination is when you take all the AI agents and you give them equal status. Imagine going in a company and the secretary, the security guard, and the CEO, everybody's equal. I mean, who's the boss? What's going to work in this company? You can be sure nothing. Because if you take people with the same equal status and you say, why don't you guys self-coordinate yourself? Well, we saw what happened in communistic times where everybody was equal. When there are no managers, when there's no hierarchy, when everybody's equal, then nothing happens. And it was the same with AI agents. Think about it. Because the AI agents became risk adverse. They only wanted to make small changes. Some would hold locks onto files for too long. And they would avoid, that's so weird, they would avoid to do difficult tasks because they couldn't decide on who the hell is supposed to do it. So 20 agents would slow down the effective output on throughput of 2 or 3 people. Again, communism, okay? What happens? You had these factories in Soviet Russia where they were just doing incremental changes. The momentum was such that it was difficult to get these innovative people who wanted to really move things. Everybody was doing their things slowly, slowly, slowly. And even when they added more agents, it only made things worse. So what did they do? And what can we learn from it? Okay, they implemented something that they're calling a planner-worker model. And again, think about your company. It just mimics how companies actually works. So you have the planners. These are agents that are exploring the code base, that are creating tasks lists, breaking down complex problems, and they are going through planners, sub-planners of different parts of the projects. Essentially, they're like your manager. Your manager also goes through what you're doing and says, oh, you should change this, you should do that, etc. Then they had a separate category of AI agents called the workers. And these agents only focus on their assigned tasks. They don't coordinate with others. They are just executing. Because before, when everything was blocked, what did you have? You kind of had like decision paralysis. You had risk aversion. You had, file lock jam. And that created a failure. So how can you unlock all of this? Is by creating a hierarchy that actually makes these AI agents work. And finally, what they added, that was really, really nice, they added something called judge agents. And these judge agents, what do? Well, they evaluate the entire process. And they decide, do we continue or do we stop? So essentially, if you're looking at this on YouTube, you will see that it's just an organigram. Essentially, they put these AI agents in an organized structure, in an organigram. So they created a company out of AI agents, and it worked. Now, not only this, they did it with 2 different models. They tested it with both state-of-the-art models. So they tested it with GPT 5.2, which is the latest model from ChatGPT, and Claude Opus 4.5 from Claude. What they found out is for very long-running autonomous work, GPT 5.2 did better than Claude. GPT 5.2 is a bit better than at staying focused, at following instructions, and Opus 4.5 is a bit lazier. It tends to stop earlier. It tends to take shortcuts. But on the other side, we know Opus 4.5 has, for example, a bigger context length. Sometimes it is also more creative. Now, what am I trying to say? It's the same in our company. We use a lot of Claude, but for many of the tasks, Claude is a bit lazy. Yet when you use helpers made out of ChatGPT, they just go, and they don't ask you questions all the time. When you do it in Codex is just going to run and work. Yet when you do tasks in Claude Code is going to come every second minute and ask you a question. And that's really, really, really painful. Now, what is the cool thing about this story? The cool thing is, in 2026, we're starting to realize that the future of AI isn't about better models, it's about better coordination architecture of AI agents. Because the breakthrough wasn't smarter AI, it's smarter organizations of AI. Claude Code. My God, you guys know that we're such big fans of Claude, and every episode has a lot of Claude in it. Okay, now, when you use Claude Code, it's a bit complicated. People get scared of the terminal. Like they open a black terminal. Oh my God, there's code. I need to type stuff inside. But actually, they don't realize that it's just like ChatGPT or it's just like Claude. You just need to type stuff inside. And I think the makers of Claude Code realized this. And they said, okay, how can we bring Claude Code to the market, to everybody? How can we make it accessible? How can we give it the same capabilities or make it friendlier? Now, when I talk to Purni, you know, is our head everything in this company. She's always good at brainstorming. She's always good at finding the latest things. She's the type of person who uses Claude Code 1.5 months before everybody else does, or uses Codex 1.5 months before everybody else does. And she kind of said, oh, Claude Cowork is Claude Code for noobs. It's for marketing people, analysts, researchers, project managers. That's correct. But it is a way to democratize Claude Code. And that is really fantastic. And that ties into the second story. Because the second story is that OpenAI is launching ads. Well, it's the third story. OpenAI is launching ads in ChatGPT. They declared that they're going to start with the free tier. And in India, they have something called ChatGPT Go. ChatGPT Go is like a bit of a lighter version of ChatGPT, which is very, very cheap in India. But they're starting with everybody who's got the free tier. So today, if you're paying for it, if you've got Plus, Pro, Business, etc., you will not see any ads. And I think the reason they started to do this is because also Google is moving so fast. Google is moving so fast, with their AI summaries. I don't know what they're called. I think they're called Google Now or Google Write or something like this. When you type on Google on the left, you have the Google summaries. So they want to also capitalize on this. Now, why are they putting ads? I mean, who wants ads in ChatGPT? The problem is we know it. Running ChatGPT is really, really expensive. And they need a sustainable business model just beyond subscriptions. And you would say, people who use ChatGPT, they ask questions. Essentially, they're asking for recommendations. Even I, should I buy this camera or should I buy that mic? I do it in an LLM, right? Now, the only one who's making money from ads right now when you ask a question is Google. Perplexity is not doing it. ChatGPT is not doing it. Claude is not doing it. So the competition, Grok, open source models, etc., to be able to keep their users happy by being able to get cash to grow the next models, they need to make money, even if it pisses you off to see ads on ChatGPT. So kind of we're moving away from, give it to the user base, give them the latest model, to give them the latest model, but hey, we actually need to make money. And the human is now becoming the receiver agent. Before, the human was a sender agent in ChatGPT. You sat down and you asked ChatGPT, do this, or I want this, or make this research. But now you, human, you are becoming the receiver agent. ChatGPT is going to reach out to you. Claude Cowork is going to do stuff for you which you might not even have asked for. And that loop is now closing with the next story of Gmail. I don't know if you realized that you had to switch off, or you still have to switch off, that Google is going to mine your Gmail. Because what do they want to do? They actually want to manage your inbox for you. Remember how you're becoming the receiver agent, how you just have to sit passively there? Now, Google is taking Gmail and it's turning it into an AI agent. What can Gemini do now? You can say, explain this long email thread to me. Can you draft this reply in my tone? Or what did I promise this customer? I forgot. But actually, they realize that humans are no longer the primary interface for email. Because the average office worker, think about it, you also, you get hundreds of emails a day. But what if AI would be the first layer of reading your emails? And what if AI would only escalate to you when necessary? Imagine you get 20 emails and spam and this. So first of all, it goes and unsubscribes from the spam. Boom, you don't have time for that. Then it puts you on CC on 10 things that it realizes are not important for you. And only the top 3 emails that it realizes, wow, I need an answer, it filters and it sends that to you. And that's a philosophical question. Because nowadays we're all using AI to say, oh, draft my response, etc., in my tone. Are these emails still from me? Because if AI is answering emails from another person who also used AI, who's even reading the emails? I can tell you that in the last year, calendar year, I've not written a single email without AI. Any email that you received from me is written by an AI. And again, that's the same shift we're talking about all the time. AI is moving kind of from an assistant who used to draft your emails to really a proactive agent that will fundamentally do things for you. Okay, your legal shield just cracked. So the last story is about Grok. We know that Grok, I don't know if it was a problem or they did it on purpose to get into the news or into the media, or you know Elon Musk, right? You know what Elon Musk did? Essentially, he rolled out a feature where you could see a family, for example, sitting together, and you could press on the 12-year-old and you could say, undress her. Now, this is unethical. I've got kids in that age, not yet at that age, but a bit younger. You could take Elon Musk and say, put Elon Musk in a bikini. That's maybe fun, right? So there was a global outcry, and then Elon Musk restricted it. He said, okay, we will only do it for paying users. And the UK was like going crazy. So the UK minister, Kendall, basically came out and said, look, it's not going far enough that you are restricting it only for paid users. This must be gone. And she announced a new law making the creation of non-consensual intimate images illegal. And it's in effect. It's not like in the US where it needs to pass Congress and there are debates and it's never ending. No, right away, boom, they did it super fast. So this is now targeting deepfakes specifically. Now, the legal framework to do this is the following. It's that Online Safety Act. And the Online Safety Act says it's not only if you do this image, for example, with Grok, it's also if you share this image. So, for example, somebody undresses your 9-year-old daughter on X with Grok, and then you start sharing it with your 5 buddies. Oh, look at what Grok did. In the UK, this is already a criminal offense. So it's a criminal offense to create content, and it's also a criminal offense to share such content. Because deepfake technology is now simple. It's very, very simple to build. It's simple to do. And it can be used for everything which is negative. We know harassment, blackmail. We did the episode on Iran just a few days ago where we realized that people in Iran, because they don't have internet, they don't know if things are real or not because they're getting deepfake content all the time. And the country in Europe, which is being super aggressive on it, is the UK. And the business insight is we're going to see more and more regulations like this happen very quickly, overnight, whereby regulations and laws used to take years to pass. Now the EU and the US and the UK are watching, and they're very, very fast at reacting. Now, if you're building something, if you're building an app or if you're building AI or whatever, that touches anything which has to do with synthetic media, you need to understand that you're in a legal landscape which might change daily. Okay, so you are asleep at the wheel. Why am I asleep at the wheel? Well, exactly because of what we discussed right now. The reality is your organization chart is not like an AI org chart, because AI org charts we know work. When you put AI agents in a hierarchical and fast org chart, they're able to code an entire browser in a super fast time. But your org chart is super slow. It is amazingly slow because it's a human org chart. And we've also understood that the human is not anymore the person who's telling AI what to do, but the human will be the recipient. We're now moving into a world where my agent is sending you an email and you won't read it. Your AI agent will filter it first and tell you, yes, I agree, or I shouldn't do this, or I should do it, or I should pass it on to Malcolm, or I should ignore it. And I think most tech leaders have not understood this yet. They really, really just look at agents as, oh, something very cool in 2026. And I'm like, no, but do you know that agents are creating a new way of operating system for you? You are going to work differently. You are going to work differently in your organization because your organization is slowly being infiltrated by AI agents, if you want it or not. It's not if your IT department or your business leaders are very clever in building AI agents. No, don't worry. Google will introduce it for you. Salesforce will introduce it for you. Salesforce will tell your salespeople what to do on the next meeting, if you want it or not. And I see this also in our keynotes, right? Now, in our keynotes, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to wake people up. I'm trying to tell them, do you understand that you're living in a world where AI agents are slowly going to take decisions for you and your team members? And people don't get it. People don't get it. It's wild. Okay, Malcolm, what's the overarching theme this week? Well, like we said it, AI agents are becoming more mainstream, if you want it or not. And regulations are catching up pretty quickly. And there will be an increased tension between innovation and regulation. It will not be like the EU AI Act that they worked on for years. It's going to be like in the UK. Boom, very quickly they will push in a new law. And we just have to figure out as business leaders on how to integrate this technology in a way that's beneficial and sustainable for our business. So yeah, this is the AI Cookbook Show. I'm Malcolm Werchota, and see you next week. Take care. All the best. Bye. I forgot to say, Malcolm out.